All right, Collision. It was good. It wasn't bad. I will tell you that they're setting up a lot more for the future, like Dynasty, and setting a big business, than really giving a show that's for now, which is all right. Most of the time, you're supposed to do it anyway. But it's a fine line, guys. You got to know that you got to do a fine line that you want to have something good for now and not just every single time set something up for the future. You got to give something for the people now, but you also have to have that balance where you got to make sure you set something up for the next show or the next pay-per-view. Well, I'm going to tell you this. The first match was a very hard-hitting match, which was good. And that's Bryan Danielson versus Shane Taylor. Now, I've never seen them work together before. I don't know if they ever did work together before. I guess by the time Shane Taylor went to ROH, Bryan was already left. Or maybe they might have met each other. Or it was very brief where they barely had time to really work together. I don't know. It was a good match. Now, the story behind this was due to the fact of two things. One, Lee Moriarty got his ass handed to him by Bryan 2 years ago, and Shane wanted to make sure that he understood. I don't play that. I'm going to get you for what you did to my boy. The other story is about what happened on Dynamite when he came out, but we never got a chance to see it. So he just came out, looks like he just stared at him, probably shook his hand and then left. We don't know. I don't know because I didn't check YouTube to see if there was anything extra. But we did get the answer after the match. So this match was pretty damn good. The focus was on Shane Taylor's left leg because Bryan could not outpower him. In most cases, he got his clock clean most of the time getting punched in the face. But he did win. And then when it was all my camera died. Right when they were finished, Will Ospreay comes out and confronts Bryan Danielson. And he says, bruh, mate, I want to show you respect. You have inspired us. You inspired everybody else. And the thing that I liked the most when he was talking was that when he sees Bryan Danielson walk in the back, because since he just started working there, he says, Bryan Danielson is the fucking man here. He got bleeped out. But knowing that he did do that he didn't mention that's got to be a bit of a work shoot, because there's no way Will Ospreay was not motivated by what Bryan Danielson has done in the years that he has worked, no matter if it was the Independents, ROH, and WWE. He had to get a little bit of inspiration. He did. So I believe that he was being 100% genuine about the respect he was giving. But he made it very clear that, bruh, you came out at my match, so I had to return the favor. And as this is going on, the crowds are small. Let's make it clear. They're still small. But they were cheering for him. So the question was, what did he want? He returned the favor about Will. And he made it very clear at Dynasty he wanted a match. He said, you want it, you got it. You got it. Now the question's going to be, what would the build be for the next couple of weeks going into Dynasty? What is either one of them going to do? And definitely what's going to happen in Don Callis' family. Because Will Ospreay may be friendly right now, but the question's going to be, because of how he spoke at the scrum, because I did watch it, and Bryan Danielson did refer to it, where are they going to book this? Are they going to book Bryan to be the heel in this? Are they going to book Will to be the heel, but doesn't want to be the heel? But Don Callis is going to want him to be a heel, but he doesn't want to. And Kateska is going to be the issue as well. Moving on. EVPs and Okada versus some jobbers. I didn't recognize them, but they were not meant to be recognized. They were meant to be destroyed by Okada, which he basically was tagged. He wanted to get tagged in. I think it was Matt. No, it was Nick. I think it was Nick who was in the ring. But Okada, reaching his hand out, wanted in, and he destroyed all three of them. That was the end of it. He didn't even have to struggle much. So when it was all said and done, and he wiped the floor with them, first person comes out is Eddie Kingston. He's mad as hell. He's got the Continental Crown Championship with him. He's trying to hit Okada with it. He got his ass clean. Penta decides to come out with Alex. He got his clock clean by Okada. Okada could not even be touched until my boy. Now, I know I didn't mention that Pac is back. I did. But my boy's back. Pac is my boy. Out of anyone who's ever worked in AEW, next to maybe Darby Allin, I like how crazy he is. Hopefully he will come back alive from Mount Everest, because he made it clear last week he could die on Mount Everest, which is not a joke. It's not a shoot. It is a big shoot. It wasn't just a little shoot. That was a big shoot. He goes up there because he'll be wrestling, and then he's going to go afterwards. So he won't even have time to fully recover from working with Jay White. He will finish wrestling, and then he'll probably catch a plane to go to Mount Everest and go there while his body's still beaten up from wrestling. But he's one of the few I like. But Pac's my boy. He got in that ring. He faced down Okada. And now there's going to be a match, I believe, next week at Big Business. That's what we got. Would I like to see Pac, his first match by himself? Yes. Would I like to see Eddie Kingston set up his match for an Okada? Yes, and that probably will come soon, because I do believe Okada will eventually face Eddie Kingston, because he wants the title. He wants titles. He's got 3 there. But it's like, how are they going to book into going into it? That's another question. Third match, the knockoff Toni Storm, the Mariah May, versus a Trish Adora. Now, I've seen her with the Infantry on MLW when I did do a couple of episodes and saw them. I think I did 1 or 2 episodes of MLW more than a year ago, and I do remember them. There was something about the Infantry, and there was something about Adora that kind of struck a chord with me. Now, Adora is a former military soldier. I don't know about the other 2. I think they might not be. But Adora is a former, what was her? What was she? I think she might have been an Army Ranger or an Air Force officer. Soldier. No. I think she was an Army Ranger. I think that's what she was. I can't remember. You guys can tell me below if you remember. But I think she's an Army Ranger. Former Army Ranger. And flat out, the match wasn't really that great. Mariah May is not a bad wrestler, but it didn't look like she was really trying that hard. And then Trish Adora was trying harder, but then it looks like they don't have any real chemistry together, and it kind of looked a little sloppy and slow. Yes, Mariah May won, and I didn't expect her not to, because the Tony Awards was coming out with an I, because they don't want to get sued. You see a Tony Storm coming out and announcing the honoree for the first Tony Award. That was only one person, Mariah May. She literally whips out a letter or envelope. And I know not many people know those things much anymore, because they're doing emails so much. And the post offices used to be like this when it came to getting a lot of letters, because it is a monopoly, and it's gone down to this. For letters, not talking about packages. Packages used to be like this, and I think they might have gone down a little bit, but they still do packages. It's still mostly cheaper than UPS or FedEx. But you get my point. You don't see letters much anymore. But the thing that you did see, whip it out, tearing it up, and she awards her. And as she's walking down the ramp with not an award, but a shoe, not a gold-plated shoe, not a bronze-plated shoe, not a plastic shoe, just her own sandal with the frizzy stuff on it. You see Deonna Purrazzo come and try and blast her, and then got her ass whooped. And Toni Storm, basically the knockoff, puts the shoe down, and tasteless Toni Storm puts the shoe on and is stepping on a Deonna Purrazzo. Really? Oh my gosh. My girl, I can understand why they got to go down this route with a Deonna Purrazzo. They got to get the most mileage out of her because she's here. She was here. This is where she is right now. And the way they book, if Pepperman, well, I am saying it again. I do not know if Joan, what is her name? Joan Pepperman is going to be a good writer or not. She's been there for 7 years. She knows how to write for the wrestling business. Does it work? Will it be great writing? I do not know. But I'm hoping that next to the men, she'll also write for the women. And the rise and then fall of Deanna Praza will not be that far because she'll be able to go back up and be something. That's what I'm hoping for. Don't even need to talk about Nick Wayne going against Bliss. Nick won. This wasn't even about him. This was about Adam Copeland, who blasts a Christian who is at right next to the fans, who is messing with, Adam's poster, who is wearing a mask, blasts him, gets into the ring, and then gets out a long box. Not one long enough to put a chair in it, but a long box. And as Nick, Killswitch, Christian, and Shayna are on all four corners of the ring, they're about to get in and basically try to whoop his ass. He opens up the case, shows it to Christian, and he backs away. And he says, "Get ready, bitch, because when it's time, and it will be time, you will." Pretty much he's saying, you're going to see what's in here. In an I quit match, he will say I quit. That's what this is all about. Whatever was in there, it's got to be something hopefully good. Because it's too small to be a chair. A chair would have been this wide. It was like this wide. So I don't know what it is. The match that pissed me off. Not because of the quality. We knew that Chris was going to win. This Chris Jericho. It's about T-Fun. Is it T-Fun? It's supposed to be Titan, but T-Fun. Because it's CMLL, and they got to be different. They don't want to just call the same guy Titan. They want to call him T-Fun. I'm pissed. It's not the point that he was a good wrestler or he wasn't a good wrestler. It's not the fucking point. It's not the point. He's a very famous wrestler from, if he worked in AAA or CMLL in Mexico, means nothing if there's no context behind it. If you don't want to show any major information about CMLL, you're making a mistake. Tony, this is stupid. Or the people from CMLL, they're stupid too. Because if they're not showing who this person is, who the fuck cares? Because I don't care. I don't care if you tell me, if someone says, dude, he's really good, check on YouTube. That's not my job to check YouTube. And it's not your job either. You know whose job it is to give us what we need? That's Tony Khan. Tony is the one that's supposed to give us the information about who we're going to be watching wrestling. CMLL's T-Fun should have already been shown. This was just a glorified squash match that took longer than it needed to be. Now, I'm not telling you that T-Fun didn't do a good job. It's not the point if he did a good job, a bad job, or he looked like a bitch. The point is he should have been spotlighted as someone from another promotion. Again, where's the vignettes? Where's the vid pack? Something to make these guys feel important instead of just bodies. And let's move on from the Gates of Agony. I don't even need to say anything about the Gates of Agony. They're having a match with Chris and Hook because Hook saved them. I'm moving on. Moving this over here. Let me give it to you like this. FTR dealing with the infantry. Like I said earlier, when it came to Trish Adora, I remember her. And I remember them. They had something that was interesting. They approached FTR, who made it very clear they weren't sure. Well, it was Dax who said he wasn't sure if they should even enter the tournament. Because Cash did. Dash was doubting it. But he tried to make it very clear next to saying, well, we can say that we're going to dominate everything. You did. But you're trying to compensate for that by saying, well, even though I said all this, I can't say we will win. But I will give you the point that we will give everything. And then the infantry came out and showed respect for about less than a minute or so, and then set the revival, screwing with them because it said, well, we want to show you the respect right now. They shook hands, and we want your spot, and we will revive the tag division. Say, oh, cute, the revival's dead, and when we meet you in the tournament, you will be too. Not bad. Not great, but not bad. But still, a big question here is this. How far are they going to push the tag division? Because for quite a while, the tag division has not felt like anything. Even though we had Ricky Starks and Big Bill, it didn't really feel super important, like they were going to do anything. But we were going to do something before with Kenny Omega, but he got sick. And before that, I do believe CM Punk might have been involved a little bit with that, because of Ricky Starks, but he's gone too. So, there you go. Mystico versus Angelico. Again, the same thing. Now, of course, maybe if it is the Mystico that I know, if that's the original Mystico who became Sin Cara in WWE, it even hurts more that they didn't even give a vignette of Mystico, who has done such great work on independence and Mexican wrestling. Nothing. Mystico. If he's the original Mystico that was signed, but never really got very far in WWE and got hurt there, and then Hideko had that situation with him, and then he left and went back to Mexico and rebuilt himself. I think he should have been respected more than this. And I'm not a big Lucha Libre fan. I'm not. I barely watch it. But at least I know the guy was well known, well respected, well cared for. And this is all we get from him? Yeah, he gets a good match. He wins the match. But really? I'm like, what did I write for my note? It just makes me itch. When I get frustrated, I go, ugh. It makes me angry. It makes me itch. Because it makes my skin crawl. And that's how it makes me feel. Knowing that someone is so important in Lucha Libre history, and you're not even giving him a vid pack? Not even something from CMLL? What is the point? Last, if I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry. The street fight. Let me give it to you like this. House of Black versus Jeff Jarrett versus Mark Briscoe versus Jay Lethal versus Sanjay Duff versus a little bit of the Karen Jarrett, who's shown a lot of booby, and a little bit of I don't know why they didn't show much of Satnam Singh much, but he did I think he got involved a little bit, but I had to go to the bathroom at that point. So I missed like about 2 or 3 minutes of the match. As far as I saw, he wasn't there much. But you had everybody in there fighting, and in the end, the one who ate the Finn, I'm saying Finn instead of pin, is because Mark went through a flaming table for the House of Black. But what does that mean? What does the House of Black get here? What are they getting? What are they doing? Now, one of the problems they had was that even though Sanjay got dunked with gas and pretty much almost got nailed and was stopped, and Karen Jarrett got sprayed in the face by Julia and everything, what does this really mean? What does this House of Black get? What does Mark Briscoe get here? Yeah, he's still well over and loved. And yeah, he worked with Jay, and he wasn't always fond of Jeff Jarrett, but what are we really getting here? Just a match. I feel like Mark deserved much better, but like I said, and you should remember, many months ago, Mark is working for his family. His brother's daughters, he's got to take care of them now with their mom. Yeah, she's going to be working. I'm sure she's going to work. But I'm going to tell you right now, when you saw those two kids walking, and I think his son was there as well, Trust me on this. Even though they've recovered, guess how big the fucking bills are. Trust me. They had to probably go through more than a few surgeries, more than a few intravenous bags, more than a few medicines to recover from that. And he's got to pay for all that. So I'm not surprised Mark is just taking whatever he's got, because he's got a lot of bills to pay for his own children, his own wife, his brother's wife, and his own nieces. He's got a lot of money to pay. So as much as I think it'd be great if he just leaves and maybe go, well, I guess TNA, if they work their problems out. But still, I feel sorry for him, but this is a choice he's made, and I can understand it. He cares about family. He's going to do what he can to make money. But this is just me. It was an okay show. I hope you enjoy this. Peace. I'm not going to put any images in this one. This one, no images. Peace.